build those capabilities in the field. Where it's not great is in a crisis, because it takes so long to index the web, essentially. It's really great as a retrospective look back, but it's not very good if you're in it and you're living through it, because it can't index fast enough to essentially keep up and tell you what's being said. So then we use just an array of free tools that everybody uses to do that sort of, hey, we're in the mess type of monitoring. But we're using it in a very smart way, we think, in that it helps us target PR campaigns and PR priorities, because we don't have to wonder what people are talking about. We can see what they're talking about, and then we just go do more PR around what people are already talking about.
How did you identify those original, like, 27 topics that you're looking at?
So it was, it's topics that the various teams identified for us. So we monitor all 14 of our billion-dollar brands. So that's everything from brand Coke to Sokenbicha. They just get monitored simply because of the nature of their importance to the business. Then within sustainability, that team provided us sort of a list of topics that they wanted to look at. Recycling, sustainable packaging, climate, water, stewardship. So we do that for them. And the beauty of any of these monitoring tools is they're really flexible. We notice that there's not a whole lot of conversation around sugar. We can just turn that off and use that license to set up something else that we think might be more useful. So it's a constant iterative process where we're adapting what we're doing to meet whatever reality in which we live and what's important.
We have the poor man's version of that, Meltwater.
Yeah.
And
Meltwater Buzz.
Google Alerts too.
Well, we have Meltwater Buzz and then just regular traditional media Meltwater too.
I'm curious that you would say that sugar was not a big conversation, because it seems to me one of your biggest vulnerabilities would be the increasing debate over obesity here and in many countries around the world. We're getting much more involved these days in non-communicable diseases, many of which are tied to some risk factors such as obesity. So how are you preparing to deal with that debate, or how do you deal with that?
With obesity?
Yeah.
So we have an entire sustainability communications team. Health and well-being is their one of their two top priorities. The other being environmental sustainability. Conversations around sodas and obesity is the single largest non-just brand topic that we track. So it's something that lots of people in the world are talking about. We have great stories around health and well-being, and we have a whole team that's resourced to do that. That is separate from our media relations team. All they do is dig into sustainability topics, and we fold obesity and well-being into sustainability because we look at it as personal sustainability. Mm-hmm. So that falls with that team, and that team is what's going to talk to us about water later. I mean, water is also equally large because, I mean, as you know, we have, we bottle in many countries with severe water scarcity issues.
To go back to data, I'm interested in knowing how you measured the productivity gain of Socialcast. But maybe if it's like too complicated, we can talk about that.
It's actually not complicated. It's not complicated at all. We just ask people.
Oh.
Hey, give us because we haven't found a way to really quantify that empirically.
Right.
It's sort of like with smartphones. How do you quantify what a smartphone gives you? Well, for me, it means I don't have to sit at the office and do stuff. Well, Socialcast and Chatter and Tibber, we found out are giving people just a level of flexibility that they didn't know they really enjoyed having. Like not having to wait 4 days for a response to an email, or not having to worry about version control, or just being able to collaborate in real time instead of going to meetings. So what people are telling us is that they think it's saving them about 2 hours a week in email chains that don't happen, or meetings that they don't have to go to, because you can just virtually collaborate. We're rolling it out we're doing the pilots in marketing and public affairs because those people are really strong early adopters, and we think will be really good at promoting news throughout the organization. These obviously are two groups that have lots of meetings and collaborate with each other a lot. So, maybe we'll see those gains fall off a little bit. Maybe it will only increase when we roll it out to support staff and things like that. But people are really excited about the potential that they have to just completely change the way that we work. And we're also noticing we get better results. Like, I don't know if you've noticed that too, but we're noticing we're getting, like, messaging, for instance, on the PR side. When someone in Belgium and someone in South Africa and someone in Vietnam all have the ability to contribute, which they didn't really have before because you might not have known who those people even were. Mm-hmm. The results we're noticing are significantly better. The quality of the work is better. Because in a large matrix organization, I don't know if PSI is like this, but at Coke, I don't know most people. But now I don't have to know them because we're all part of a virtual work group, right, where you just join.
Right.
When you say collaborating in a real time virtually, are you talking about, like, we use Socialcast where people can comment as when they log on and see the message, or are there times where you designate 8 a.m. Eastern time, anyone interested in this topic should log on?
We haven't. That's a great idea, actually. That we didn't even consider doing, as far as I know. No, we're talking about real time wherever you are. So if I'm in Atlanta, I don't have to wait for someone in Bangkok or Shanghai. They can work on it and comment and provide their input when I'm asleep. But I hadn't actually thought about that. That's a great idea to have actually a virtual
It's
like
work
the
group in
town
real
hall.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that we explored as far as the virtual conference technology, and whether we would have at some point want to have, instead of a regional retreat in Africa, having a worldwide retreat
Sure.
online or something like that. So, Socialcast is something that has that capability.
I think it would. I mean, you can certainly do town halls
Yeah.
Yeah.
using the technology in real time. We haven't used that functionality because we have bandwidth issues. Our